As time goes on, it definitely feels like the Nintendo Switch hasn't just become the console for Nintendo games and games that we associate with the Nintendo brand, it's also become a lean, mean porting machine because we have games like Doom 64, Doom 3, a whole lot of PS2, PS3, Xbox games are now available on the Nintendo Switch, and personally, I think that's awesome. Now that being said, I do have a challenge with the console, and that comes in the form of the controllers, because take the Pro Controller, right? I think it's pretty awesome, but I don't necessarily love the D-pad. But then on the flip side, you have the Joy-Cons, and those I just cannot stand, even to the point that whenever I travel, I'll use other controllers just to avoid using that. But say you want to play some of those older games, or just games in general with a control that you really like, that's where this little bad boy comes in, the Brook Wingman NS adapter, valued at about $40 to $50. This right here, people, lets you use just some of these following controllers: Xbox One, also Xbox 360, PS3. You know I love my PS3. You can actually use this controller. You can also use a PlayStation 4 controller and the variables, so like the Xbox Elite controller, fight sticks for all of those. So in this video, we are actually going to be putting it to the test. I've already poured multiple hours into using this accessory, and I can say without question, you got to try this, because I don't think I'm just going to be using this casually. This is definitely great for games that I want that D-pad that I love, which in this case, it's the Xbox One controller. So if you like what I do, make sure to subscribe, click on that bell, go down to the comment section and let me know. If you were to get a device like this, which controller would you use it for and why? And full disclosure, Brook did reach out so I could review these products, so I did not pay for these. I received these free of charge, but all of my opinions are of my own. I'm not being paid, or none of this is being evaluated. This is me being real. If I like a product, I'm going to talk about it, and if I don't like it, I'm going to talk about that as well. So what comes in the box? Pretty simple. You see the device right here. On the back, it states that it can be used with the Xbox adaptive controller as well, and that's pretty awesome because it does make gaming that much more accessible, and all of this can be compatible also with PC. Now, personally, that's not the reason that I was interested in reviewing this product, so I'm focusing primarily on its capabilities on the Nintendo Switch. And inside, you get this little nice box. On the back, you get two QR codes, one for the user guide, another one for the firmware. Now, something that's very positive, I used this product for multiple hours on Twitch, offline, and I never installed any firmware, and I did not run into any problems. And then right here, you see the product. So let me show you how easy it is to set up. This right here is the Power Bay dock for the Nintendo Switch from Brook. That's going to be a future product review, so pre-order details in the description if you're interested. You just plug it in, you see it starts blinking, and at the front there is a USB device that can be attached to it, in this case a USB cable. So this is the Wii U cable, because it's my favorite one to use for both Wii U and PS3. All we got to do is switch over here without hitting myself with the cable like I almost did. You plug the controller, you see already it detects it, and just like that, people, we have a fully functional PS3 controller. Now, it's currently player 2, so it actually indicates that it is player 2 because I do have my Pro Controller plugged in. Now, this is the part that just made me fall in love with the device, because maybe you don't want to leave it plugged in. It still works just fine, people. And not only are the D-pad or the analog sticks and all that fully functional, the PlayStation home button also works as the home button for the Nintendo Switch. Now, obviously, you are missing about 1 or 2 buttons when compared to the Pro Controller, but all things considered, check this out. We can just head over to Control, we can change the grip order, and boom, we're gonna do that. So to make things super awkward, let's play Donkey Kong Country on the Nintendo Switch using a PS3 controller so we can check out the experience. Yeah, that's right. I chose the stage in Donkey Kong Country. Let's see how far we get. But as I mentioned, I played this on stream multiple times. Played offline. Works excellent. Super awkward now because I'm trying to just show you the gameplay and the control at the same time. But it doesn't feel like I need to make a lot of adjustments. The only controller that may be a little bit confusing is the Xbox one, because A and B are swapped out, right? So that can be a little bit confusing, but I actually love the buttons and the D-pad. I love the buttons and the D-pad on the PS3 controller. Man, wouldn't it have been cool if I just did that in one shot? Look, I know there's the secret, but I'm not going to do that. But let's try another controller, shall we? So here we have the PS3 one. Now with PS4, I have this lovely purple controller that belongs to my wife. All I got to do is unplug that USB. I'm going to get the ugliest USB cable that I have, but I have a lot of sentimental attachment just because I paid for it. So I'm going to plug this one in. And this same cable also works with Xbox One. Now, the Xbox One controller that I'm going to be using in this video is the original model that I believe doesn't have Bluetooth. So that one I don't do wireless. And check this out, just like that. There we go. Took a quick second there, but look, left, right. Actually, right, left. No, I know my lefts are right, people, okay? Sorry, I'll just fully own up to that mistake, and I'm not even going to edit it out. And then, much like the PS3 controller, gonna unplug that right now. You see it went offline, right? But if I hit the button, works just fine. And we gotta play Street Fighter Alpha 2. It's such an amazing game. Not just the gameplay, but the graphics. I remember, I think this one still had the long box on PS1. I could be wrong, but I know the Sega Saturn version is very expensive or something like that. And this is the type of game that I love to play with a PlayStation controller, because in the case of Street Fighter Alpha 3, I bought that physically on PS1 back in the day, and I also have the digital copy on PS3. And it's worth pointing out, much like Donkey Kong Country, I'm not great at mini games, especially when I'm playing for a video. Oh no, Chun-Li, come on, work with me here. But as you can see, it's working just fine as far as movement. Now, instead of just changing to another game, as we still have a Street Fighter Alpha 2 booted up, I'm going to see if we can swap out the Ps4 controller for Xbox One. Now, I have done this offline, and it works just fine, which is not an intended design, right? Of like swapping controllers mid-game. I mean, maybe if that's something you're interested in, hey, that's a feature for this. But just to play it safe, because the Ps4 controller is connected wirelessly, I'm just going to replug this. You can see it actually changed there on screen, so that's good actually. That's a good visual cue for when this one works. And then we are just going to connect the Xbox One controller over here. I have noticed the Xbox One controller, keep in mind once again, this is the launch model. It does take a little bit longer, but you see it stop blinking. So if I do this, look at that. As I mentioned, it does get a little bit confusing because A is B and B is A. So it's some kind of like controller cinematic universe confusing thing. But let's go right back here. And just like that, we are now playing the same game. So we're playing a game that came out on PS1 with... Okay, Chun-Li. Okay, I clearly can't... I cannot talk and play this at the same time. Can I win? There we go. There we go. Chun-Li, come on, work with me. I'm recording right now. Make me look good. Thank you, Ryu. And that works right there too. So you can see not only are the buttons, the D-pads, and everything else functional, you also get that. Plus, don't forget, this is a feature that is not often talked about on the Nintendo Switch. Say you get something, but you want to swap out a couple of options, right? You can actually do that by going to controllers and sensors, and then you can change the button mapping. So you can change and adjust all of this to your heart's content. So if you do want to make it ABA on the Xbox One controller and B as B, as opposed to the confusing thing that happens with the Nintendo Switch, you can make that happen, and it actually remembers this. Now let's do two more tests. This first one is with Old School Musical. This is important because it's a music rhythm game, and you know, with input latency and all of that, if you get any kind of added delay with any device like this, it can just break the experience, right? Now, I'm not the most technical person when it comes to reviews like this. I like to provide a casual perspective. I have played one session of this before recording, and it worked just fine. Plus, what's cool is Rumble support actually works, and I do like how I'm getting the controller closer to the microphone as if you can hear the rumble. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I actually think you can. Well, there we go. So I'm going to leave that at strong, and then we're going to play this game. If you haven't checked it out, you got to try it. It has an amazing soundtrack and visual presentation, but you'll see it right now. That game's just so damn good. I got that very cheap at one of the Switch sales, and I ended up playing through all of it, but the hard difficulty is, oof, I still got to adjust to that one. But then for the final test, let's try out Puyo Tetris. I don't play the Puyo part, but I do play the Tetris part with friends. And this one is a very practical test for me because I own 2 copies of this game. One of them is on PC, the other is on Switch. So pre-pandemic, when we'd have friends come over, we would play the Switch one in the living room, but a lot of us would actually complain about the D-pad on the Joy-Cons and the Pro Controller. And then on PC, I would actually use either the PS3 or Xbox One controller. So here, I can actually use the controller that I want. So just yesterday, I was playing with them on PC with the PS3 controller, and then here I am also doing the same thing, but in this case, it's on the Nintendo Switch. And as we play this, I do want to give my closing comments and say that without question, this is a product that even if I had not received it free of charge, I would have absolutely bought it, because look at how many controllers I have, people. One of my biggest frustrations as a gamer, and I've talked about this in previous videos, is how many controllers do we have that have only that one use, because you can't use them on another console. In here, with a game like Tetris, it's not exactly difficult to adjust to it, right? Because it's almost like second nature when you play a game like this. And I think that's where this really excels. And if you're thinking about getting it, I really would love to know which controller would you be compelled to use it with, because I think that's what it's all about, right? It's like if you're a PS3 gamer and you want to make the switch to the Switch in this case and still use your favorite controller, you can do that. Obviously, there are going to be some games, when it comes to gyro and all that, those are unique features about the Nintendo Switch that will break some of that functionality. But because Nintendo does allow you to adjust some of the options, as I showed before, you can really adapt pretty well to the experience. Plus, yeah, you get a $40 to $50 adapter, and I know there are other excellent ones out there also available, but I would personally prefer to get an adapter to play with a controller that I already know than spending $60 to $70 on a controller that maybe I don't like. And now I have that, and the availability is real, and I'm just here playing Tetris because Tetris is a damn good game, right? I think everybody should enjoy Tetris, but let me know what you thought about this device. Thank you once again to Brooke for sending it in for review. I think the fact that you can use this both wired and wireless is exceptional, and the fact that if you saw in the notifications, it even tells you a battery life, rumble works, pretty much everything works, and I think that's awesome, especially as you get games like Dragon Ball FighterZ, right? That's available on multiple consoles. Same thing. As we lean more into cross-play, cross-platform stuff and all that, I think the controllers should also support one another, kind of like how it does with PC. Let me know what you thought about the product by going down to the comment section and letting me know, as well as drop other suggestions for Switch products, other awesome accessories that maybe I should check out in the future. There are going to be links for purchasing some of the products highlighted in this video. They are going to be affiliate links of their Amazon, which does provide a small support to the channel, and that is very much appreciated, as well as other links to Brooke's website. So if you like what I do, make sure to subscribe, click on that bell, follow me at twitch.tv/MrPlayerJuan. Shout out to all of you that you were part of the the live experience as I was testing this out. So the reason that I do all of that is because if it's a bad product and when you're doing a live stream, you will without question notice, and that was not the case with the Wingman NS. So up until next time, thank you for watching and supporting, and take care, everybody.